Hi, boys and girls. So I looked at the results from your test that you took on Friday, and lots of you had trouble with the two fraction problems. Like almost everybody missed them. So I wanted to go back over those two problems with different examples so that you can try the test again soon, and I know you'll do better. All right, so first let's take a look at problem 4. Now this is one that's like the one on your test. It's not the same one. And we also have problem 8. Those were the two fraction problems. So this one says, Emmy ran 5.5 miles. For 3/4 of her run, she ran uphill. How many miles did she run uphill? Guys, I would like to point out to you this special word of that we've mentioned a lot. For 3/4 of her run, she ran uphill. But let's also just break this down with our T, and I think it'll come to you a lot easier. So, first thing is we're looking for how many miles she ran uphill. So let's go to the camera. Sorry, I guess my camera got turned off. You're going to see me for a second. No, you're not. Thank goodness. All right. All right. So the first thing to do for this problem, and I have a feeling if I looked at your work, you guys skipped over the step of figuring this stuff out. Number of miles uphill. And also, please just remember how I said it's really, really hard to tell what to do on a fraction problem, and you really need to do the T-chart. All right, so now let's go back and get our notes, or maybe draw a picture depending on what the problem says. She ran 5.5 miles. Let's take that note down. 5.5 miles, right? Then it says, for 3/4 of her run, she ran uphill. 3/4 of. See, 3/4 of 5.5. So let's draw a picture of what that would look like. Here, oh, you can't see it. I'm sorry, you can't see the camera. Let's go back. There we go. Here's 1 mile. Here's 2 miles. Here's 3, 4, and 5. And then, of course, we have to show our half mile too because it was 5.5. So we're going to color in 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes, 4 holes, and 5 holes. Then we have to find what is 3/4 of this. So let's do this. Make our fourths and then color in really well 3/4 of them. So there's 3/4 of 1. Here is another 3/4. Here's another 3/4 of this one. I'm wondering if you notice this, that it's beginning to look like 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4. To me, it's beginning to look like repeated addition as I draw the picture. And repeated addition means that we're doing what? Yep, we're multiplying. All right. And then here we need to take 3/4 of 1/2, which means we need to cut this into 4 sections, right? Right, 3/4 of 1/2. So yeah, so I need to make 3 lines. 1, 2, 3, and then do the same thing over here. And then just color in 3 of these 3/4. So that looks as though it's going to be 3 out of 8, right? So 3/8 is 3/4 of a half. All right, and now that we have all that, we could just add it up. So let's do this. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. That would be 15/4 plus 3/8. See that there? All right, but again, now that you have seen all this, right, it looks to me like we're multiplying. But let's go ahead and just do our or adding it up and get our answer, and then go back and multiply and check to make sure it's the same. All right, so 15/4 plus 3/8. I'm going to erase this 3/8 right here so we can find our common, or least common denominator, LCD. All right, 4 and 8. So times 2. 15 times 2 is 30. And 4 times 2 is 8. So we've got 30/8 and 3/8, which is a total of 33/8. You see that? Which, when we divide it up, right, 33 divided by 8, 8 times 4 is 32. Subtract and we have a 1. Put your 1 on top of the 8. So we have 4 1/8. Anytime you have a 1 on top, there's no simplifying. So that looks like our answer is 4 1/8. But knowing that we have repeated addition in our picture, that means that we were multiplying from the get-go. And remember that Ms. Godfrey has told you that the word of signifies multiplying. So you could have used that key word, especially since in the problem it says 3/4 of her run. She ran for 5.5 miles. For 3/4 of that run, she ran uphill. And then another trick to let you know that you're multiplying is when it also says, how many miles did she run uphill? See how the question repeats what information they just gave you? That's a big clue, a big ding, ding, ding light bulb moment that you should be like, okay, I see that. That's multiplying. All right, so now let's prove it from our picture, and let's prove that multiplying was the right answer. We know our solution. And over here, let's 5 1/2 times 3/4, right? Okay, so remember we got to mat it. Denominator stays the same. 5 times 2 is 10. Add the 1, that's 11/2. So we would be doing 11/2 times 3/4. All right, so again, we came out to 33/8. Do you see how that's the same as over here when we came out to 33/8? So we would again, once we divide, get 4 1/8. Now, I need you guys to really think about that of, because it will save you a lot of time. Now, if you had done what Miss Godfrey taught you how to do, even if you didn't recognize the of and drew at the picture, you could have figured out what the problem was. And at this point, I really do expect you to figure it out. You're going to need to be able to do that to get all the points that you can on your EOG and get the highest score possible. All right, let's try another problem. All right, let's look at our second practice problem. It's almost the exact same thing. The first one was about Emily. This one is about Amy. It says Amy ran 3.5 miles. For 3/4 of her run, she ran uphill. How many miles did she run uphill? Let's set this up the same way. Number of miles uphill. Now, all right, this time she ran 3.5, but it was still 3/4 for the amount of the run. So the run was shorter, but she still ran 3/4 of the shorter run. And don't forget to write the of, because the of is the key word that will be like, yeah, I'm multiplying. Now, if you're not sure, 100% sure, and again, notice the wording of this problem. The question asked you, how many miles did she run uphill? Right after it told you the number of the fraction that she ran uphill. So what you've got to do is find the number that represents that fraction. How many miles did she run uphill? All right, so are you pretty safe to say now that we can just multiply this? I kind of think that hopefully you are after we did this practice problem and I showed it to you. But again, if you were on an EOG or doing a test like you were Friday, I would want to see everything that you could do to figure out what you were supposed to do. But again, of, when you say of out loud, of, the number of miles of it. What is 2/3? If you have 8 kittens, what is 2/3 of the 8 kittens? It will always tell you an amount, and you're pulling out the amount of it with a fraction, and I will always be multiplying. All right, so let's go ahead and do it. 3 1/4 times 3/4. And now we're just going to mat it. So the denominator stays the same. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13, so you have 13/4 times 3/4, which gives you 16 on the bottom. And then, of course, 13 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 is 39/16. And then, of course, all you have to do to deal with that is just divide. 39 divided by 16. I know that 16 times 2 is 32, so that's what I'm going to use. 16 times 2, 32. 9 minus 2 is 7. And now you have 7/16. 2 and 7/16. Can this be simplified? 2, 3, 5. I can't divide 2 by 7. Oh, wait, 7's a prime, so nothing is going to divide by 7 except for 7, right? So let's see if 16 can be divided by 7. 7 times 2 is 14. That doesn't work. 7 times 3 is 21. So there are definitely no 7s in 16. So that means we can't do anything to simplify this. Our answer is 2 and 7/16. All right, we're going to end that video because this was all for question 4. And then I'm going to give you a question like question 4 to do today. And you're going to have to prove to me that you know how to do this kind of problem. All right, see you in a bit.